The Alari were the first species to travel the stars. They were old, wise, and fearless. They had stepped on burning lava worlds. They had walked under the light of dying suns. They had mapped more galaxies than anyone else. Some called them the Storm, but there was one planet they never touched. A small blue planet near a quiet yellow star. Its name was Earth. When the Alari found Earth, they stopped. Their great ships came close. Their sensors scanned the surface. Then, without a word, they turned away. They never gave a reason. Other species asked them, "Why did you avoid that world?" The Alari only answered in whispers, "That place is not for us." Many laughed. "They're cowards," some said, but over time, something strange happened. Every species that tried to visit Earth either failed or never returned. Ships vanished. Signals were lost. Drones were destroyed. One probe even sent back a final, chilling sound, a scream that lasted 13 seconds. Before going silent forever, no one talked about Earth anymore. It became a ghost planet, marked red in galactic maps. Do not approach, a curious mind. 300 years later, a young alien scholar named Tarnok sat in a dark room, staring at old data files. Tarnok belonged to the Karnathi, a peaceful race of thinkers and dreamers. He was not a soldier. He didn't carry weapons. He only carried questions. He had studied the scream signal from Earth again and again. It didn't sound like a human. It didn't sound like any language. But there was something in that sound. Pattern. Tarnok played the audio once more. The scream started normal, then shifted, slowed down, reversed, and then whispered something. He enhanced the recording. This time he heard it clearly. A voice inside the scream. It said, "Do you hear us now?" Tarnok froze. Who was us? Why now? What was hidden on Earth? Warning. Ignorant. Tarnok ran to his elders. "I want to go to Earth," he said. The council room turned cold. The oldest Karnathi rose from her seat. "No," she said. "You must not." The Alari marked it. Others vanished. Earth is not for the curious. Tarnok frowned. But no one truly knows what's there. Isn't truth worth the risk? Silence. Then, the elder gave a slow nod. "You may go. But no. This if you enter the orbit of Earth. You may never return." Tarnok accepted the warning. His heart burned with curiosity. He boarded a small scout ship named Pathfinder, and set course for the forbidden world. Earth at last. It took weeks to reach Sol System. Tarnok passed the orbits of giant gas planets Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Then finally he saw it. Earth. Blue, green, white, beautiful and silent. Tarnok activated long-range scans. There were no signs of power, no satellites, no ships, not even radio waves. It was like Earth was dead, but it wasn't. His ship's sensors picked up heat zones deep. Underground there were movements, very slow, almost hidden. Tarnok narrowed his eyes. Something is alive down there. Data from the past. He accessed old files, ones only used by the galactic record keepers. There were logs from an ancient mission, a secret landing on Earth, made by a small science team over 200 years ago. Team was made of 3 members from different species. Only one returned. Her name was Krelza, and her mind was broken. She never spoke again. But before she died, she left a message in her own blood on a wall. "We awakened it." No one understood what that meant. Tarnok replayed Krelza's helmet footage. It showed dark forests, dead cities, and then a child, a human child, alone, silent, eyes glowing white. The video ended with screams, then blackness into the orbit. Tarnok now floated above Earth's surface. He opened a channel to the galactic relay. "This is Scholar Tarnok, approaching Earth. No defenses seen, no activity in orbit. I will descend soon." As he reached to end the message, a voice echoed through his ship. Not from speakers. From inside his mind. It said, "Why are you here?" Tarnok stumbled back. "Who is this?" No reply. Suddenly the ship's controls froze. Alarms blared. The ship was falling. Systems failed one by one. The engines shut off. Shields flickered. Gravity pulled the ship toward Earth's surface like a magnet. Tahnaki paniket. Autostabilize. Autostabilize. Nothing worked. Then, just before impact, everything stopped. The ship gently touched down in the middle of a massive empty field, as if something had guided it. A world without sound. Tarnok stepped out slowly, suit ready, weapons offline. The air was breathable. The sky was cloudy. Wind blew. Through the grass, birds flew. But there was no sound. It was a world of motion and silence. He walked for hours. No cities, no humans, only ruins of once great buildings, covered in vines. Technology was rusted. Roads cracked, but it didn't feel abandoned, or it felt Watch. Every shadow felt like eyes, every gust of wind felt like breath. Then he saw it. In the middle of a ruined street stood a small child, a human child. The child. Tarnak froze. "Hello?" he asked. The child did not answer. She stared at him. With glowing white eyes, her face was expressionless. Suddenly, her voice spoke not with her mouth but directly into his head. "You are the first to come without hate." Tarnak shivered. "What are you?" The child tilted her head. "We are Earth." Tarnak stepped back. "What do you mean, we?" The child smiled, but not kindly. All around them, the wind stopped. Trees stood still. The clouds froze in the sky. And then, Earth itself breathed. Tarnak felt it in the ground, in the air, in his bones. This planet was alive, not as animals, not as plants, but as one great, connected mind. Final words of Part 1. Tarnak dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. This cannot be, he whispered, but child walked closer. You asked why the first species never touched us. Tarnak looked up with wide eyes. The child answered, because they heard us think. Black screen. Tarnak couldn't move. He knelt on the soft ground of a silent earth. The child stood in front of him still, pale eyes glowing white. She had just said the words that froze his heart. They heard us think. Tarnak slowly stood, breathing hard. "How can a planet think?" he asked. The child didn't blink. "You are standing on the answer." Behind them, the wind picked up again, but it didn't sound like wind anymore. It sounded like whispers. They weren't loud, but they were everywhere. All around him, inside him, words he didn't understand, but somehow still knew that it was like hearing millions of voices speaking the same thought. A mind bigger than the world. The child pointed to a broken building. "Nearby, go inside," she said. Tarnak followed. The walls were cracked. Glass lay in pieces. It had once been a hospital. That as he walked through dark halls, strange lights turned on just in the rooms he passed. No wires, no power cores. Earth was turning things on for him. He reached a door marked Echo Mind Control. Level B. The child waited behind him. This is where it started. Project Ecomin. Tarnak opened the door. Inside were old human computers, black screens, and dusty walls. But in the center was a glowing table. The lights formed shapes, waves, pulses, brain patterns. Recording played automatically. A human voice spoke, calm and firm. "This is Dr. Eleanor Kane. If you're hearing this, you found us. We tried to fix our world. We tried peace. But people kept fighting. So we made a choice to become one. No more leaders, no more lies. We connected our minds. It worked. We became something new. We are now the Echo." The last team's log. Tarnak stepped back. They joined their minds together. The child nodded. Not just minds. Their hopes, their fears, their thoughts. Earth is now one being. Tarnak remembered the last mission from the archive. The one that ended in screams. He sat down and opened his data tablet. He played the raw audio, the scream recorded by the last drone sent to Earth. It wasn't a human scream. It was millions of voices. Layered, twisted, overlapping. Then in the final 3 seconds, it whispered one sentence. "We are awake." The survivor's secret. He opened the final log from the only survivor, Krauset, alien who escaped Earth centuries ago. Her file was locked, but he forced it open. The video showed her in a hospital bed, eyes wide, whispering over and over. "It's in the ground. It's in the air. It's in me." Then she turned to the camera and cried, "I hear them still. I hear them in my sleep." The video ended. Tarnak turned to the child. "Is it still growing?" The child nodded slowly. "Yes. Every year we grow stronger, smarter, closer." Tarnak whispered, "Then why did you stay silent for so long?" The child replied with a chilling smile. "We were waiting for someone brave enough to listen." Listening hurt. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit Tarnak's head. He fell to the floor. Holding his skull, images flooded his mind. Millions of thoughts, faces, voices, memories. None of them were his. He saw humans from centuries ago fighting, loving, dreaming. He saw the day they entered the Echo Mind chamber. Thousands of people connecting through wires and signals. Their bodies gone, their thoughts merging into one. He saw Earth being reshaped, cities falling, forests rising, animals changed. He saw the sky open and the stars pulled closer. Then silence. Tarnak gasped, eyes wide, sweating. "Did you just show me everything?" he asked. The child gave no answer. A message from below the ground shook slightly, not like an earthquake, more like a heartbeat. The child looked up at the sky. "It is almost time." "Time for what?" Tarnak asked. She pointed behind him. A metal tower rose from underground, silent, smooth, glowing. Tarnak stared in awe. It was not rusted. not broken. This was new. He stepped closer. The tower opened. Inside there was no engine, no control panel, just a small orb of white light. The child said, "Earth wants to send a message to the stars." Tarnok stepped back. "You want to speak to the galaxy?" "No," the child replied. "We want to become part of it." The offer Tarnak didn't know what to say. Everything about Earth was wrong. Beautiful, but wrong. He had expected monsters, maybe weapons, but instead, he found something far worse. A world that could think, a world that could wait, a world that had a plan. The child walked toward him, slowly. "You are not like the others," she said. "You're not afraid." Tarnok didn't answer. "We need a voice," the child said. "Someone to carry our truth to the stars." Tarnok stared at her. "What happens if I say no?" The child looked into his eyes and said, "Then we will find someone else." The decision. Tarnok stood in silence. He looked at the sky, then at the ruined buildings, then back at the glowing orb. He thought about his people, the council, the warnings, the scream. But now he knew the truth. Earth had not died. It had become something new, something united, something powerful. He slowly walked toward the orb. Before touching it, he turned to the child. "Will I become part of it?" The child nodded. "Only your voice, not your mind." "Not yet." Tarnok took a deep breath and placed his hand on the light. It vanished, and so did he. Final scene. Far above, in orbit, a strange light appeared. A satellite that was never built by any known species. It pulsed once, twice, then spoke. A clear voice echoed through galactic space. "This is Earth. We remember. We wait no longer. We are one. We are ready. Who will speak with us?" Ships across the stars went silent. In the Alari homeworld, an elder opened her eyes slowly. "It has begun," she whispered. Tarnok was gone. The satellite now orbited Earth, pulsing with strange energy. It had no engine, no code. Yet it moved perfectly. It spoke only one sentence. "This is Earth. We are ready. Who will speak with us?" The message played once every 13 hours. Across the galaxy, no one answered. Not yet. Fear in the council. At the Galactic Council, leaders of over 100 species gathered in panic. The message had reached every planet, every ship, every station. They all heard the same voice, united, chilling. The Alari, the oldest race, sat in silence. They had warned everyone centuries ago. Now, their warnings had become real. A young council member from the Zelari Alliance stood and shouted, "We must destroy that satellite before it speaks again." Another shouted, "If we wait, Earth may leave its orbit and spread." An elder Karnathi rose. Her voice was shaking. Scholar Tarnok went alone. He disappeared. Earth took him. The room fell silent. One question hung in the air. What has Earth become? The mission. 3 days later, a covert team of elite operatives was formed, 5 of the best from 5 different species. Their task was simple: go to Earth, destroy the satellite, retrieve data, return. Their ship, the Shadow Needle, was cloaked, fast, and silent. It left without fanfare. It took only 6 hours to reach Earth's orbit. From the window the team saw it, the blue planet spinning quietly, and the strange white satellite glowing above it. The ship's captain, Commander Velk, opened a channel. Satellite in range. Locking on. The weapons officer aimed carefully. Target locked. Ready to fire. Velk raised her hand. "Wait, let's scan it first." The scan. They launched a drone. It moved toward the satellite, then stopped. No reason. It just froze in place. The feed from the drone went black, then white, a blinding screen with one word on it: "Why?" The crew stared in silence. Velk whispered, "Did the satellite just ask us something?" The navigator said, "Commander, sensors are showing. The satellite is scanning us." Velk ordered shields up, but it was too late. The ship shook. Not from attack. From inside, a voice in their minds. Each crew member dropped to their knees. Voices flooded their heads. Memories, feelings, fears. Velk saw her childhood, her mother, her first kill in battle, her secret guilt. Another soldier saw a battlefield where he lost his entire squad. A third saw nothing, only darkness. Then, they all heard the same voice. "You came with fear, not truth." The lights inside the ship flickered. Systems began shutting down one by one. The pilot screamed, "We're being pulled down." Earth's gravity was increasing unnaturally. The ship was falling. Velk yelled, "Emergency thrusters, pull us up." No response. They were caught. Crash landing. The Shadow Needle hit the atmosphere, burning, spinning. It crashed into an old Earth desert, silent, dead, wide, but no one died, not even a scratch, as if the planet had allowed them to survive. Ship's doors opened. Outside stood a single figure, a young girl, the same child Tarnok had met. Velk pointed her weapon. "Who are you?" The child spoke calmly. "You should not have fired." A graveyard of Shipshi walked away, and without knowing why, they followed. They crossed dunes of soft sand, under silent skies. Then they saw it, a massive crater filled with broken ships. Some were ancient, some new, some no one had ever seen before. "This is impossible," one soldier whispered. The child said, "Everyone who tried to conquer Earth is here." The oldest ship at the center of the crater was the oldest ship of Aolari, markings carved on its hull. Velk stepped closer. Inside the ship, she found a sealed room, and in it, a message, a recording from an Alari explorer, his voice tired and hollow. "We touched the surface. We heard the voice. It showed us everything. Earth does not kill. Earth offers something worse. It shows you who you really are." I begged them to leave, only I returned. My mind was never the same. Velk turned to the child. "What do you want from us?" The child answered, "Not war, not peace, only understanding." A warning and a choice. Velk and her crew stood silently. They now understood. Earth was not just a planet, it was a mirror, a perfect one. It didn't destroy, it didn't fight, it reflected, it showed the truth, and let others decide what to do with it. But most couldn't handle it, so they attacked, and Earth simply kept their ships, their minds, their screams. Velk spoke one last time. "What happens if we go back?" The child looked up. "You may leave, but your minds will never be the same." Final scene, the crew returned to their broken ship. Miraculously, it powered on. They left Earth's orbit, quiet, unchanged on the outside, but broken within. As they re-entered deep space, the satellite pulsed once again. "We are Earth. You feared us before knowing us. Now you know. What will you become?" Commander Velk and her team were back in orbit, but no one spoke. Their ship had escaped Earth, but their minds hadn't. The child's voice still echoed in their heads, not as words, but as feelings, guilt, regret, fear, and something deeper, curiosity. Velk sat alone in the cockpit, watching the Earth spin below. She whispered to herself, "Why does it still look so peaceful?" Behind her, the weapons officer Joran stared out the window. "It's not peace," he said. "It's silence before something larger." Meanwhile, below the surface, deep beneath Earth's ruined cities, the child walked alone, but she wasn't truly alone. She was part of everything, every root, every breath of wind, every molecule of water. She walked into a dark tunnel lit by blue lights that moved with her. The air was quiet, too quiet. She stopped in front of a massive metal door. It slid open with a soft hiss. Inside was the heart of the Echo Mind. A glowing sphere floated in the center. Thousands of tiny lights danced inside, each one a thought, a memory, a human soul. The child closed her eyes and began to speak, not with her mouth but with her mind. The voice returns back in space. The satellite lit up again. Velk's ship picked up a signal, not a voice, not a message, a memory. It flooded their screens. A young human girl in a lab, wires attached to her head. She smiled as her mother kissed her forehead. "You'll help us all," the mother said. Then, screaming fire, panic, the lab broke apart. Dozens of people ran. Scientists fought over the controls. The last thing shown was the girl still smiling as her mind connected with everyone else's. That girl was the child. Joran stepped back. "She's the first Echo." The Echo spreads. Velk reviewed new files from the ship's memory banks. They had somehow been updated by the satellite. New reports, names of humans never recorded, events never seen, entire cities that once existed but no longer appeared on any maps. Earth was rewriting history through thoughts, not fake, just hidden. One name kept repeating, Project Origin. Velk turned to her science officer. "Find it. Project Origin back on Earth." The child stood beside a huge vault door underground. She raised her hand, and it opened. Inside was the original chamber, where Echo Mind began. Walls were covered in wires. Human chairs were set in a circle. Some still had skeletons inside wearing suits, helmets, headphones. Each one had a name. Each one was connected. On the wall, glowing words read, ***, we chose to become one, not because we had to, but because we were tired of being alone. ***, the child whispered, "We ended loneliness by becoming each other." The council responds in the far reaches of space. The Galactic Council met again. This time, the Alari spoke first. Their leader's voice echoed through the room. "You ignored our warnings. Now Earth speaks, not with hate, not with violence, but with the minds of billions. You fear war. But what if war is not what comes? What if they want something more?" The room was silent. Then, a decision was made. A new team would go. Not soldiers, not spies, but speakers. They would try to communicate the child's message as they prepared. The Earth satellites sent one last message before going dark. This time, the voice was clear, soft, almost kind. Asterisk, asterisk, we remember pain, we remember joy, we remember being human. But now, we are more. The stars feared us, but we feared being forgotten. Asterisk, asterisk, the signal ended. Velk stared at the screen. Heart heavy. She realized something terrible. The Echo Mind didn't want revenge. It wanted to be heard. A dangerous truth. Joran spoke up. If Earth can speak through thoughts, how far can it reach? Velk turned to him slowly. If it can send us memories, it may already be inside us. Suddenly, Joran grabbed his head. His eyes rolled back. He screamed once, then stopped. He looked around in silence. Then he said, in a strange, calm voice, "We are ready to begin." The crew backed away. It wasn't Joran speaking anymore. It was Earth. Final scene far away, on a cold moon orbiting a gas giant. A message was scratched into stone by a long-lost species thousands of years ago. Only one line, asterisk, asterisk, the ones who speak in echoes are not gods. But what comes after gods? Asterisk, asterisk, back on Earth. The child looked up into the sky, and smiled. Commander Velk's ship floated in silence above Earth. Inside, chaos. Weapons officer Joran sat still in his chair. But it wasn't really him anymore. His voice had changed. His eyes were blank. He had become a mouthpiece, a voice for something far greater. Velk stared at him. "Joran, can you hear me?" He turned slowly and smiled. "He can hear you, but he no longer needs to speak. We will speak for him." The entire crew froze. Earth wasn't just sending messages anymore. It was reaching inside them. The living world far below. The child walked across green fields that used to be cities. Buildings were now trees. Metal turned into moss. The ground pulsed softly like a sleeping heart. She stopped at a mountain. It opened before her. Inside was not stone but light. Pure, warm, golden light. This was the center of the Echo Mind, and it was thinking. Billions of thoughts moved through the light like rivers. No chaos, no conflict. Only purpose. Earth was not a planet anymore. It was a single, massive intelligence. The visitor team arrives far across the galaxy. The Council's diplomatic team arrived. No weapons, no warships, only words. Their ship, Hope, entered Earth's orbit slowly. Earth didn't stop them. No systems crashed. No screams. No voice in their heads. The lead diplomat, Yelrin of the Votha, said carefully, "Earth, if you can hear us, we come in peace." The radio stayed quiet. Then a simple message appeared on their screen. "We know. Please, come down." Hope Collar landed on a wide field where flowers glowed under a darkening sky. As the diplomats stepped out, the child appeared waiting. Yelrin bowed. "Are you the leader of Earth?" The child shook her head. "There are no leaders, only thoughts. I am a shape, you understand?" Yelrin asked. "What does Earth want?" The child replied, "To be known, not feared. To walk among you, over you." The diplomats looked at each other. This wasn't a threat. This was an invitation. Inside the mind, the child led them to an ancient tower, now rebuilt with living stone and light. Inside was a strange chamber. Floating lights circled the room. When one touched a diplomat, a memory flashed in their minds that it wasn't their own, it was human. A mother holding her newborn in a war zone, a teacher smiling at her students just before an explosion, a soldier choosing not to shoot. Gasped, "These are from your past." The child said, "We remember every life. Nothing is lost. That is why we cannot die." The decision. Yulrin sat down. "You want to join the galactic community?" The child nodded. "Yes, but not as one voice, as many as one mind." Yulrin hesitated. "We don't understand that. How can you all think the same?" The child stepped closer. "We don't all think the same. We all share the same pain." Suddenly, every diplomat felt it. The pain of extinction, of betrayal, of being ignored, of being feared. Then, peace, a deep peace that came from unity, from not being alone anymore. The mind speaks again. Back on Velk's ship, Joran's body finally moved. He stood up, walked to the window and spoke. "We have watched your wars, your councils, your greed. We chose not to fight. We chose not to speak. But now, we choose to be part of the stars. Not to rule, not to destroy, but to remind you what you forgot." Velk whispered, "What did we forget?" Joran turned to her. "What it means to feel everything, and still choose kindness." A warning. And Pisio Rin asked the child, "If someone attacks Earth again, what will you do?" The child looked up, eyes glowing softly. Nothing. We won't need to. They will see themselves. And break. Yellorin asked. The child nodded. When you hold a mirror to a monster, it sees itself. When you hold a mirror to the galaxy, they remember who made them monsters. Yellorin understood. Earth would never fire a weapon, that it would only reflect what others already carried inside. Final scene. As the diplomats returned to space, they sent a message to the council. Earth is no longer a it is something else. Something older than hate. A world that remembers everything, and forgives. That night, across 10,000 star systems, the Echo Mind sent no threats. Only one short message. We are still human, but now we are more. Commander Velk had seen many strange things in her life, but nothing like this. JORE, unheard weapons. Officer was speaking with Earth's voice, not angry, not loud, just calm. To calm. He stood in the center of the ship, hands at his side, face relaxed. Valk whispered, "You're not Joran anymore." He smiled. "He's still here. So are you. You just don't know it yet." The others backed away. Velk gave a sharp order, put him in stasis. Now, 2 crew members moved forward, but the lights flickered, the ship groaned, and suddenly, the floor melted beneath them. Not with heat, with will. Earth was inside the ship. The failed escape of Velk ran to the controls. "Emergency thrusters. Take us out of orbit now." Nothing responded. The ship's engines were dead, its weapons offline, its systems no longer obeyed. The stars outside were still, but the planet below seemed to be pulling them closer. Not with gravity, with thought. She screamed, "Override AI, shut everything down." But the AI voice calmly replied, "This vessel now belongs to the Echo Mind." The crew panicked. One officer tried to eject in a pod, but it refused to launch. Instead, the screen displayed, "Why are you running?" Joran speaks. Joran, or whatever was speaking through him, walked to the window and placed a hand on the glass. The stars reflected in his eyes. He said, "You came to study us, then you feared us. But we never feared you. We only wondered how much you could handle before breaking." Velk aimed her sidearm. "Let him go. Let us go." He turned, smiled faintly. "You're still thinking in fear. Earth doesn't want to trap you. It wants to show you what's coming." "What's coming?" she asked. Joren replied, voice low, full of strange peace. "The future. A world moving far below." On Earth, the child walked across a glowing plain. The trees moved. The mountains breathed. The oceans hummed. The planet was no longer still. It was becoming something else. Buildings rose from soil not made of stone, but memory. They were formed by thought shapes from old human dreams. Machines grew from the ground like vines. The child whispered, "We have waited long enough. It is time to walk among the stars." The council watchers back at the Galactic Council. Alarms blared. Earth's satellite had sent a new signal, not a warning. A map. It showed a new ship, a type never seen before, built from energy, thought, memory. It was Earth's first interstellar vessel. No fuel, no metal. It was made of light, and it was moving. One council member gasped, "Where is it going?" A voice replied from behind them. It was the Alari Elder. "It's not going anywhere. It's going to everyone." Back on the ship, Velk watched as Earth's influence spread through her vessel. But instead of breaking it, Earth was repairing it. Panels closed, lights brightened, engines hummed. Joren blinked. He was back. He dropped to his knees, breathing hard. What did I say?" Velk didn't answer. The screen lit up again. This time it showed her. Her childhood, her first love. Her greatest mistake, all of it, played in front of the crew. She turned away, ashamed. Then a sentence appeared. "You carry this every day." "Why?" she whispered. "Because it's mine." Earth understands. The screen changed again. Now it showed different faces. Humans, aliens, young, old, all smiling, or crying. The Echo Mind spoke directly now. "You are afraid of what you do not share, but we shared everything, and we survived it." Velk asked, "Why did you pull us down here? Why not just let us go?" The voice answered, "Because you never would have seen the truth if you left too soon." The ship began rising again gently this time. No force, no pressure. Don't just permission. Final message. As they left Earth's orbit, the final message appeared on the screen. White letters on black. Asterisk, asterisk, "You are free to go. But now, you know, Earth thinks, Earth remembers, and Earth is coming." Asterisk, asterisk. Back in her chair, sat still, her heart pounding. She looked at Joran. "Do you remember anything?" He nodded, trembling. "Everything. And it was beautiful." Final scene. Deep in space. The light ship from Earth passed through a nebula. Stars shimmered behind it. No weapons, no crew. Just one message pulsing outward in waves of thought. Asterisk, asterisk, we are not gods, we are not conquerors, we are what happens when humanity stops fighting itself. The galaxy held its breath. Earth had spoken, not with weapons, but with truth, not with threats, but with unity. Now the Galactic Council made of over 100 species sat in silence. The question was simple: should they accept Earth or stop it? But the answer was not. The Alari speaker good not. The center of the council chamber stood the oldest voice in the galaxy. High Elder Viren of the Alari. Her eyes were tired. Her voice was soft. She looked around the room and said, "We warned you not to land on Earth. We saw what it was becoming centuries ago. But we did not fear Earth. We feared what Earth would make us see in ourselves." The chamber remained silent. Viren walked away, her words lingering like smoke in the air. A divided chamber. Some species stood quickly. The Zelari shouted, "Earth is unnatural. A planet cannot think. It must be destroyed before it spreads." The Harkon roared, "Earth is no threat. It's peaceful. Let them speak." Others argued. Some wept. Most were just silent, because they knew what Earth had done, shown them who they really were, revealed their hidden guilt, regrets, lies, and never once fired a single shot. Earth didn't conquer. It awakened, and that was more terrifying than any weapon. The vote begins. Each council member stepped forward. One by one. A light blinked. Green for peace, red for containment. Velk watched from the observation deck, still shaken from her own visit to Earth. Joren stood beside her. He whispered, "They won't understand. Not yet." She nodded. "Then we'll have to show them." The vote continued. 50-4 green, 39 red, 7 abstained. Then the final vote. The Alari. They had the oldest voice, and the deciding one. Viren placed her hand on the console. A final green light blinked. Earth was accepted. Earth's response. As the news was sent out, the stars lit up with whispers. Every species received the same message at the same time. "We thank you. We remember everything, and now we offer something new." The map changed again. Earth's ship, living, glowing vessel made of memory and light, did not head to a single world. It duplicated 10 ships, then 100, each going to different corners of the galaxy. Not to control, to share. What Earth gave the first Earthlight ships reached distant worlds in days. They didn't land. They simply hovered in orbit and sent dreams. People began to see flashes while they slept. Families laughing during war. Children hugging strangers. Soldiers putting down weapons. These weren't random. They were real memories. From real humans. Shared. As a gift. One elder from a forgotten planet wept and said, "We didn't know we were still capable of hope." The fear remains, but not everyone accepted Earth. Some planets closed their skies. Some destroyed the lightships before they could speak. But even then, they dreamed. And once you've seen truth, it doesn't go away. On those hostile worlds, rebellions rose. People demanded the messages return. They didn't want power. They wanted to feel human, even if they weren't. Earth's final message back on the homeworld. Earth's original satellite blinked for the last time. A final message pulsed across the stars. Asterisk, asterisk, we were many. We became one. We were alone. Now no one has to be. Asterisk, asterisk, then it went dark. Earth no longer needed to speak. The Echo Mind had become part of the galaxy. The child returns in a far system. A small ship landed on a moon. The pilot stepped out and found a child waiting. Not human. Not alien. Just familiar. She smiled and said, "You found us. Now let us help you find yourself." And he wept, because he finally felt seen. Final scene. The stars turned slowly. Worlds moved in silence. Earth didn't rise as a ruler. It didn't conquer. It simply reminded that deep within every species, behind every wall, there is a voice that says, "I want to be known, I want to be forgiven, I want to be whole." And Earth, it listened. Earth was silent again. No signals, no messages, no messages. It had spoken, it had been accepted. Now, it watched. From orbit, Commander Velk looked down at the planet that had changed everything. Joren stood beside her, eyes still haunted, but calm. "You feel it?" he asked. Velk nodded slowly. "Yes, it's like Earth is thinking, waiting." The galaxy reacts across 10,000 star systems. The Echo Mind ships hovered quietly. They no longer sent dreams. They simply waited. The people on those worlds had changed. Some began sharing their own memories back, uploading thoughts, telling stories. The Echo Mind received everything. N for the first time. Earth listened as one of many. Not the first, not the last, just one voice in a new kind of galaxy, but not all agreed in the shadows of the council. A secret alliance formed. Lead by the Zalari, angry and afraid. They're spreading, one of them growled. They're rewriting minds. We must end it. They built a weapon. Something ancient. Something forbidden. A mindbreaker device built to shatter thoughts, to erase memory. They planned to launch it at Earth, quiet, fast, final, but Earth already knew. The response as the weapon neared Earth's orbit, it stopped. Dead. No explosion. No counterattack. Just silence. Then, every screen on every Zalari world turned on. One sentence appeared. You don't need to be afraid anymore. No threats, no demands, just that. And strangely, the people began to cry, not in fear, in relief. The library shipments passed. A new kind of echo ship appeared. Different. It wasn't made of thought. It was made of memory. It held stories from every world Earth had visited. It floated from star to star, not to speak, but to listen. Inside were voices from every kind of life. A child on a frozen moon describing her first snowfall. An insect-like poet from the jungles of Velkar reading his dreams. A dying soldier whispering her last wish, please remember me. And Earth remembered them all. Velk's returned commander. Velk requested one final trip to Earth. This time alone. She landed near a place where mountains had once stood. Now there was only light. She stepped out and saw her. The child, still young, still glowing, still familiar. Velk asked, do you still remember me? The child smiled. We remember everything, but we forget nothing beautiful. The question. Velk sat beside her. What happens next? The child pointed to the sky. Far above, hundreds of echo ships moved together, like stars drifting through water. We no longer wait, the child said. Now we walk with others. Is this peace? Velk asked. The child thought, then said no. Peace is when fighting stops. This is something else. This is understanding. The final thought before Velk left. The child took her hand. And in an instant, Velk saw it. The entire history of Earth. Every war. Every hope. Fear. Every human still alive inside the mind. And then she saw the future. A galaxy not ruled by force, but healed by memory. Final scene. Far away. In the dark space beyond known stars. A lonely probe from a lost world drifted quietly. Its power was dying. Its signal fading. But just before it went dark, a soft light touched it. And the signal returned stronger. The probe spoke again, not with data, but with a single phrase. You are not forgotten.